All persons having any business before this honourable court now draw nigh and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Lachlan William Archer.
May it please the court, I move that Lachlan William Archer be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lachlan William Archer be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shannon Grace Armistead.
May it please the court, I move that Shannon Grace Armistead be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shannon Grace Armistead be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Susan Rose Chandler.
May it please the court, I move that Susan Rose Chandler be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Susan Rose Chandler be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cliff Cheng Chuan Chang.
May it please the court, I move that Cliff Cheng Chuan Chang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cliff Cheng Chuan Chang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ankita Chowdhury.
May it please the court, I move that Ankita Chowdhury be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ankita Chowdhury be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maria Dimitreva.
May it please the court, I move that Maria Dimitreva be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Maria Dimitreva be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Virginia Mary Dorr.
May it please the court, I move that Virginia Mary Dorr be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Virginia Mary Dorr be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Carlos Oliver's Dragons.
May it please the court, I move that Carlos Oliver's Dragons be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Carlos Oliver's Dragons be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jenny Dew.
May it please the court, I move that Jenny Dew be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jenny Dew be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Daniel Jacob William Fellows.
May it please the court, I move that Daniel Jacob William Fellows be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Daniel Jacob William Fellows be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Bridget Margaret Flaherty.
May it please the court, I move that Bridget Margaret Flaherty be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Bridget Margaret Flaherty be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Georgia Louise Francis.
May it please the court, I move that Georgia Louise Francis be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Georgia Louise Francis be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rebecca Louise Fraser.
May it please the court, I move that Rebecca Louise Fraser be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rebecca Louise Fraser be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Gitanjali Ganguly.
May it please the court, I move that Gitanjali Ganguly be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Gitanjali Ganguly be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Cashlyn Elena May Hall.
May it please the court, I move that Cashlyn Eleanor May Hall be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Cashlyn Eleanor May Hall be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Anna Eloise Alice Hespolis.
May it please the court, I move that Anna Eloise Alice Hespoulos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Anna Eloise Alice Hespoulos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Davin Hong.
May it please the court, I move that Davin Hong be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Davin Hong be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rita Issa.
May it please the court, I move that Rita Issa be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rita Issa be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sadaf Javed.
May it please the court, I move that Sadaf Javed be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sadaf Javed be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lanchuan Zhao.
May it please the court, I move that Langshuan Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Langshuan Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yasmin Jomar.
May it please the court, I move that Yasmin Jomar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yasmin Jomar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elsha Kia.
May it please the court, I move that Elsha Keir be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elsha Keir be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elizabeth Ruby Kennett.
May it please the court, I move that Elizabeth Ruby Kennett be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elizabeth Ruby Kennett be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rosanna Joy Lambert.
May it please the court, I move that Rosanna Joy Lambert be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rosanna Joy Lambert be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Bik Tao Le.
May it please the court, I move that Bik Tao Lei be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Bik Tao Lei be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zishan Lim.
May it please the court, I move that Zishan Lim be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Zishan Lim be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Mirjana Maximovich.
May it please the court, I move that Mirjana Maximovich be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Mirjana Maximovich be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Raquel Zuimi Martinez Akatethla.
May it please the court, I move that Raquel Zuimi Martinez Akatela be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Raquel Zuimi Martinez Akatema be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Minakshi Kavya Mukavili.
May it please the court, I move that Meenakshi Kavyar Makaveli be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Makeshi Kavyar Mukaveli be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hanin Naji.
May it please the court, I move that Hanin Naji be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hanan Naji be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Annette Louise Noble.
May it please the court, I move that Annette Louise Noble be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Annette Louise Noble be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Martin Stephen O'Rourke.
May it please the court, I move that Martin Stephen O'Rourke be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Martin Stephen O'Rourke be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alicia Padilla.
May it please the court, I move that Alicia Padilla be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alicia Padilla be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Abhinav Parashar.
May it please the court, I move that Abhinav Parashar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Abhinav Parashar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Liam Robert Quinn.
May it please the court, I move that Liam Robert Quinn be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Liam Robert Quinn be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Laura Rose Russell.
May it please the court, I move that Laura Rose Russell be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Laura Rose Russell be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Adam Schwartz.
May it please the court, I move that Adam Schwartz be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Adam Schwartz be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amy Louise Skiffer.
May it please the court, I move that Amy Louise Skiffer be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amy Louise Skiffer be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Haojie Xiao.
May it please the court, I move that Haoji Zhao be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Haojie Xiao be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rowan David Singh Simpson.
May it please the court, I move that Rowan David Singh Simpson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rowan David Singh Simpson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Charlotte Veronique Smith.
May it please the court, I move that Charlotte Veronique Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Charlotte Veronique Smith be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
William Douglas Sneath.
May it please the court, I move that William Douglas Sneath be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let William Douglas Sneath be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Zhao Tang.
May it please the court, I move that Zhao Tang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Zhao Tang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emily Kate Taylor.
May it please the court, I move that Emily Kate Taylor be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emily Kate Taylor be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elaine Bunmoy Toon.
May it please the court, I move that Elaine Boone Moy Toon be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elaine Boone Moy Toon be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Elise Marie Vidala.
May it please the court, I move that Elise Marie Vidala be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Elise Marie Vidala be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Catherine Suzanne Walker.
May it please the court, I move that Catherine Suzanne Walker be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Catherine Suzanne Walker be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sarah Margaret Eileen Welch.
May it please the court, I move that Sarah Margaret Eileen Welch be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sarah Margaret Eileen Welch be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Scher.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica Scher be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica Scher be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Thank you, Registrar. Now that the formal moving of lawyers has ended, I'd like to warmly welcome you to this virtual admission ceremony at the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today is Justice Bell, who is the President of the Court of Appeal to my right, and Justice Campbell, who's a member of the Common Law Division of the Court to my left. Together we constitute the court that has, in exercise of its jurisdiction, ability to practice. As we gather for this celebration physically dispersed, I'd like to begin by recognising the various traditional lands on which we meet. This ceremony is streamed from the Banco Court, which is located on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge those traditional custodians and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and traditions of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. To all the new lawyers watching today, welcome to the legal profession. This admission ceremony is probably a little bit different to what you were expecting. These are challenging times when you are unable to be admitted in person. However, your admission, conducted remotely, reflects the agility and adaptability which you will need to possess as lawyers in an age of great change. This is a time for celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get to this point through caffeine-fueled nights and obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook and more cases than you can hope to remember. You've entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered the mysterious reasonable person, and have understood the Constitution consists of so much more than the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admissions oath dates back to the 12th century. This court first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you, that's how long it feels like you've been studying. For many of you also, the support of your family and friends has been invaluable. No doubt they have also often been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I encourage you to take the time to thank them. The oath or affirmation you made before this ceremony is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is in acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers and our somewhat unusual choice of fashion. I recall on one occasion some years ago, a young member of the audience asked if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. I was very sorry to disappoint. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You'll be unsurprised to hear that over the past year and a half, we've had to adapt quite a bit, as you can see today. COVID-19 has meant a rapid shift in increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure access to justice continues in the midst of a pandemic. Things did not always go smoothly, as those with me on the bench can probably attest to. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication and fairness to participants. And occasionally a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the challenges we are facing, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implications for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural and remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were not originally permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practising certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of this court, and, for example, amongst barristers in speaking roles before the High Court of Australia. It is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates, but we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head-on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and people from diverse cultural backgrounds continue to be alarmingly underrepresented in the legal profession, and particularly within the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession for people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which this year has again increased, or because of other systemic issues is troubling. Not just this, but we will only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than those who have been around for as long as me. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment, or bullying within the profession, unfair laws or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak up for these things. They do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Some would say, of course, there are only a few lawyer jokes, the rest are true stories. But jokes aside, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court, the administration of justice, and the other ethical duties you must uphold. Now that you are lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there's a lot more to it than that. You're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum as a series of abstract concepts, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same questions for the same reasons, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is foundational to upholding the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted with the sole objective of ensuring that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable only to us. A client reading your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and your speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or forthwith, herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I use double negatives and tautologies and wordy clauses that take up a whole page? Should my advice be what is sometimes described as an anxious parade of knowledge? I would suggest the answer to these questions is usually no. The best advocates can make their point simply and succinctly. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder from time to time, but don't pick up bad habits you might get from reading unpunctuated judgments. I also want to speak about failure. I'd not be surprised if there were quite a few overachievers and perfectionists watching the live stream today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important, you try not to make the same mistake twice. I myself have made many mistakes over the year, too many to remember, although some of my fellow judges can remind me of them from time to time. Even as Chief Justice, my decisions have on occasions been successfully appealed to the High Court. When that occurs, I'm obliged to tell myself that the infallibility of the High Court is not merely a legal fiction, but even dissenting judgments sometimes from time to time become the law. Finally, I want to emphasise that your mental health is extremely important. This may sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or take a step back when you need to. Also remember the law is a collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. Although you may find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case and I lost many more after that. Throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on the other barristers on my floor to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the sly tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. I hasten to add that I do not include either of my fellow judges on the bench in that comment, although I do not know if from time to time they might have said the same thing about me. On behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, particularly those sitting with me today, I congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The Court will now adjourn.
Silence all stand.